So, Michaela,
Yep.
you went to school, right?
Yes.
Do you remember school? It was a
Yes.
while ago.
Hey.
What was your least favourite subject at school and why?
Science.
Oh, yeah?
Like physics and all that. I was terrible at it.
Is that why you didn't like it?
Yes.
Because you sucked at it?
And I just didn't get it. I didn't understand why I'd need to know this stuff in my life.
Oh, physics is, gravity, and that's kind of important.
No. I topped business, though. I could see the practical application in my life to that. Anything that I couldn't apply, like physics and, what's algebra? Algebra! Like, why? How many times have you used algebra since you left school?
Oh, I've used it a lot, actually, in business.
Oh, well, I haven't. It was a complete waste of time.
Welcome to the Tradies Business Show, helping you get off the tools and into true business ownership, so you can spend more time doing the things that matter most. Now, here are your hosts, Warwick Bidwell and Michaela Clark.
And welcome back to the Tradies Business Show, where we love everything, including algebra.
Yeah.
You know that like spreadsheets and stuff use algebra. You've probably used algebra and you didn't even realise it.
Yeah, I mean, there's algebra and then there's algebra, that has 100 mathematications across a 3 billboard thing, whiteboards or something.
Yeah, I do remember some of those horrible equations and sitting through senior, like, Maths 2 or whatever it was called, just because it got me a great OP, TE score back in the day.
Why don't they teach about, entrepreneurship and mindset and all that
Cash
shit
flow.
that matters?
Yeah.
Like how to market and all that stuff, instead of stupid algebra that no one's ever going to use, or physics. Who needs to know bar the oxygen, O2, whatever.
Bar the fact that we actually need oxygen to live and gravity to keep shit on the ground.
No, but I'm talking about that stupid table with all the...
The periodic tables.
Yeah.
Chemistry, that was, not
That's
physics.
Right. Oh, well, same thing.
So, we're going to just...
art. I also failed art.
Oh, was there anything you did good at school?
Yeah,
Business?
history and business.
History and business. So if you want to know anything about the history of business, just ask Michaela.
Yeah, but art, I was terrible at it. I haven't got a creative bone in my body, so...
Well, you make a podcast.
Yeah.
That's creation.
Yeah. Drawing people and painting is not a strong point.
Yeah, no, I suck at that too.
Because it was Commonwealth Games, is going back how long, and Hayley Lewis had won all these medals, so you had to draw someone that you admired, and I drew Hayley Lewis, and they couldn't work out who it was.
We're going to put it... Can you find it? And we'll put it up on the show page.
I kept it because it was so embarrassing.
Is it just like a stick figure?
No, she had like a real big face, and you had to draw like like a 3D profile picture,
Right.
Shading and all that stuff. And
Shading, yeah.
Yeah. So no.
Yeah, I failed art too.
Yeah, well, that was good.
And music.
Lucky we're...
Lucky we're good at business, hey?
Yep.
So that's why you're listening, listeners. In case you were just wondering what the heck you had tuned into on iTunes, like, hang on, I thought this was the Tradies Business Show. You are here. This is Wazza, and I'm joined by Michaela. And today I've got a story for you. So in the previous episode, I managed to get through a whole episode without using one analogy. At least I don't think I did. If you disagree, just let us know via the Facebook page.
No, I don't think you did. I get a feeling this is going to change.
But I'm slipping back into my old self here.
Yes.
It's not really an analogy so much as a story, and this story really illustrates for me something that we all do in our life, but particularly in our trade businesses. And so I knew this guy that used to be a cabinet maker. And he did, fairly high-end cabinetry and particularly like entertainment units and that sort of stuff, all custom built. And he found things were pretty tough. Like he wasn't getting enough customers, he wasn't getting enough orders. And I knew him through networking groups. And I hadn't seen him for a while. Anyway, I bumped into him. We're talking a year later or something. And it's like, oh, how's things going? And he said, oh, yeah, not too good, It's like... but I made a big change in my business. I was like, oh, right, what'd you do? Thinking he'd, fixed his marketing or done something to change his business, right? And he said, oh, I've started making these, the old Space Invaders tables?
Yep.
The arcade tables that you used to see in the arcades. Well, he went into making those. Like, these are pretty full-on bits of gear that you have to manufacture. I'm like, oh, right. So how's that going, Because, like, I would have thought that'd be a pretty specific market. He's like, yeah, not so good. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, you done anything about your marketing? Like, how did you think that was going to change everything? He's like, oh, I just thought things would be different this time. And he was thinking that the problem was something else. You know, like, he hasn't fixed his marketing. He never liked putting himself out there. He was never really confident in sales or promotions or anything like that. And so he's changed his product, but he hasn't changed the thing that's actually going to make the difference in his business. He still lacks the skills in marketing his products and getting it out there. And so do you think anything's going to change for him?
Right.
Probably
so it's
not.
a bit of a bright, shiny object syndrome where he thought, oh, I'll just jump on that, not change the things that haven't worked
Yep.
in the previous business, just a new product line. Or,
Yep.
I mean, businesses do this all the time, whether it's a new service offering or, you know, they change different staff members or whatever. You know, if there's fundamental errors in the business, you know, that's not going to change.
It's working out the skills that you lack or the real problem in your business, and not looking for just literally doing the same thing and expecting a different result. It's a definition of insanity, apparently.
So he wasn't doing marketing in his cabinetry business, and nor was he now doing marketing in an industry that would probably need even more marketing because it was so niche.
But he was hoping it would be different because these things were way cool, and apparently they were going to go through this big resurgence, which they probably did for about 7.5 minutes 5 years ago. But I haven't seen a single one in anybody's house or cafe.
I have, but move on.
Yeah. It was probably the one that he made and sold. But even so, the analogy is for
Ding, ding.
our businesses, right, is we change stuff that is not really the problem, right? The product wasn't the problem, it was his marketing of his previous product. Right? He did great cabinetry, but he just wasn't out there promoting himself. He didn't have enough alliances. He was kind of waiting for the customers to come to him. And so he thought if he changed his product, things would be different. But the reality was he still didn't have the marketing, promotion, sales, alliances and everything lined up to get a different outcome. So, you know, I actually think he went out of business, sadly.
Wow.
You know, he had a big shed and everything for all of his gear, and I know the shed's not there anymore. I can't see his business online. So, sadly, I think he's probably pulled the door down and said, you know what, the market's stuffed, no one's buying anything, and he won't ever realise that there was something fundamental that he could have changed to change his results.
And so with our listeners that may be going through similar problems, nothing seems to be working for them and they've changed different things, what can they do to realise if they're doing the same thing?
Well, I think one of the big ones is join the Tradies Business Toolkit.
Oh, nice plug.
There's a shameless plug for you. But I say that tongue-in-cheek. What I do believe is that you should go and get feedback from people outside of you, outside of your business, even from your customers. A really powerful way to figure out how you're doing is survey your customers. Whether it's on a one-on-one basis as you do each job, or if you do it as a batch kind of process where you send out a customer survey.
Yeah, and it's something at Tradies VA. I know they often follow up calls and will do surveys as well with customers just to make sure they're happy and ask feedback and things. So there's multiple ways. I mean, there's free programs out there like SurveyMonkey and things like that that can do surveys.
Yep.
Easily.
But if you don't have thousands of customers, you know, it's not that big a deal to send an email out with, you know, and I think we've covered it previously on the show, but, you know, there's a simple, basically 3-question survey you can do to get a numerical score. It's called a Net Promoter Score. So for those of our listeners who love to go and do a bit of Google research, go and Google Net Promoter Score survey.
Why don't we put something in the toolkit for our members?
Well, we could do that.
We could.
That would be a good idea, wouldn't it, Michaela?
That would.
Great. So I'll put my version of that into the Tradies Business Toolkit. So if you're a member listening, head on over to tradiesbusinesstoolkit.com and you'll find the Net Promoter Score survey in there. If you're not a member, why the hell not? Join up. It's $1 US for 30 days and $27 US a month after that. And these are the sorts of things that you'll get access to on an ongoing basis. So survey your customers, you can get some really good feedback from them. And they will tell you what you're doing well and what you're not doing well. And it might actually help you to go, oh, wow, I had no idea that people thought we forgot all about them after we did the job.
Yep.
And you might think that the reason you're not getting referrals is because people are price focused these days, or they're embarrassed about the fact that, they had a blocked toilet or whatever. So you'll actually get some more objective feedback. So customers are a great way to get feedback. That's terrible.
And just a point to note that, a lot of customers won't fill it out, so don't get rejected and feel, take it personally if you're struggling to get responses back. I think it's like a 2 or 5% people actually do a survey, but any information you're getting back will be good. So just stick at it and keep doing it.
Yep. And you could bribe them with, scratchy or movie tickets or whatever if you really want to get the results back, but just chuck it out there and see and be honest with people. Say, hey, we really want your feedback. We're trying to improve our business and improve our service offering for our customers, and we'd love to know what you think. So would you be able to help us out?
And also it's looking at getting your customers' feedback, but like you said, external feedback as well. And whether that's getting someone in like a mentor or a wingman in to have a look at their business and see, because often it's hard to see what you're doing the same thing all over, often again that you're making mistakes. So often it needs someone outside of you to really look at what you're doing and give you analysis. So. And
give you honest feedback too.
Yeah.
And I think that's a challenge. Is a lot of people close to us, friends, family, even co-workers or staff, they just feel a bit weird giving us like, I really want to tell him or her this, but I might hurt their feelings or that'll make it uncomfortable between us. Whereas someone like myself and the work that I do with my clients as their business wingman, my job is to give blunt, honest feedback. So I'll call it how I see it. And
often people will take note of people they don't know more than people that know them as well.
Yeah. I find that with the staff members that I work with within my clients' businesses is they'll tell me stuff. They tell me some pretty funky stuff, actually, that they just don't feel comfortable sharing with the business owner. Not that they don't want them to find out, but it's just a different dynamic. So get some feedback from people outside your business about how you're doing and perhaps some of the things that you could improve. Some other ways, Michaela?
Yeah, so the other thing to look at that may highlight some issues is looking at historical data. So, going back and looking at trends in your business, whether that's through your marketing, your lead generation, looking at your, the things that you test and measure in your business. And yes, you should be testing and measuring everything in your business. So let's just assume that you are, because that's a whole nother episode. But whether it's the financial, your revenue, your profit margins, whatever the issues are over the years, and you can start to see trends and see where issues may be highlighting.
Such a good point, is learning how to read your numbers, as you say, whether it's the marketing data, so how many leads you're getting from your different marketing strategies. And, like the guy with the Space Invaders tables, if he'd analysed where his leads for custom cabinet work were coming from, he might have seen that most of his work was coming from referrals from other professionals like TV installers and audio technicians and electricians, high-end electricians and automation guys. So one of the strategies you could have put in place off the back of that was targeting some tighter alliances with those sort of people, rather than just kind of going, well, I get a few referrals, but it's hard when you don't have it written down to actually be able to make good decisions off the back of it. So it's such a great point, Michaela. And the same with the financials, absolutely having a look at, what's selling, what's not, where you're making profit, where you're not making profit. And then being able to decide whether you want to or can reinvest that into more marketing and, spending on promotions or product development, whatever the case may be. So basically what we're saying is before you, I guess, jump on the choo-choo train of, I know what's wrong with my business, I'm going to make this change. There's an analogy for you. Just stand at the station, have a look at the other trains in the station, look at the timetable, and
look at the other passengers.
Don't mess with my analogies. But don't jump on the train too quickly, because often we think we know what the problem is, but it's not until you stand back and have a bit of a broader look at what's going on that you can see that, well, maybe it's actually this. Maybe it's not my business. Maybe it's the market that I've decided to go and play in. Maybe I'm unconsciously actually playing in the low-cost market because that's the message that my marketing is sending, and that's why I'm always coming up against the price objection from people. And
often I also find that maybe the thing you hate doing the most or your big weakness as a business manager is often where the issue is. So if you hate putting yourself out in front of people, and networking could be your issue, so think about whatever you hate doing, and start there by looking at, okay, what gap am I not doing because I hate doing it and I don't do it. So think about what you hate doing first and maybe work back from there as well.
Because we naturally come back to the things we enjoy or that we're good at as a way to solve a perceived problem.
That's right. And look, I hate numbers, and I think my bookkeepers wanted to sack me a million times because I'm shocking at it.
Yep.
But that highlights, and that has happened with issues that have happened because I haven't focused it on that area of the business. I'm thinking I need to do this to get more or whatever. So I always look at what do I hate doing the most, because that's probably the area that's lacking the most in the business.
Yeah, it's funny. I've got an analogy about that.
Okay, go.
No, I won't share it. I'll make everybody wait until next episode.
Oh, because, you know, we need a hanger like a series finale.
An analogy series.
But anyway, if you want to find out more about the show and us, listen to past episodes, make sure to check out tradiesbusinessshow.com or head to iTunes, and we'd love to hear a review, particularly, you know, if you do love or hate his analogies, because that helps more people get to hear the terrible analogies in iTunes and us be found more.
Better than
help
my
more
dad
people.
jokes. Way better than my dad jokes.
Well, that's debatable.
Jeez.
And if you want to find out more about the Tradies Business Toolkit that we mentioned, tradiesbusinesstoolkit.com. And I think we've plugged enough today. I think we also mentioned Tradies VA as well.
Tradiesva.com.au, so they can do your customer surveys for you. If it's something you hate doing, just get the guys at Tradies VA to do it for you. Cost bugger all, and then you get some good feedback and you can solve the real problems in your business.
Perfect. So I think we've solved the world's problems today. So until next time.
Hooray.
You've been listening to the Tradies Business Show with Warwick Bidwell and Michaela Clark. Want to get off the tools and into true business ownership? Find out how at tradiesbusinessshow.com.